So Satan came to me through this big tree. I don't know what kind of tree it was. I should have asked AI when I was last in Hawaii. I actually walked through the sacred fields of Alvah, as I call it, the sacred fields of Alvah, very sacred place. Alvah Sky Elementary. That tree is still there, with the freeway running through the yard. I should have asked AI. It really does a good job of telling me what kind of tree it is, but okay, it's a tree. Kind of like, I guess might be that it's not a banyan. It's it's a tree, and the lights shone through the branch. So a light, the sun, and I just knew this was Satan communicating with me because the light was on my face. It was warm, and for someone with retarded like me, very dense head, that's why I like being executive, because you just tell everybody else to do all the thinking for you, you take credit for it. But yeah, it's very dense head, very hard to do things. So I didn't want to give up on it. Nowadays, I think they're moving toward a direction where they want people to have more IQ appropriate expectations for their educational and income outcomes in life. And I don't like it. And I think a parallel in the world of financial is what we saw in California in 2023 with the closed data policies over open data policies when it comes to property ownership. It's not that you can't get it, it's that it costs money. And the whole point of it is so that kids in elementary, middle school can dream outside of the box when it comes to who they're going to marry, the wealth they're going to marry into, and start writing letters to people with concentrations of wealth just by importing all of that data into a spreadsheet. In California, absolutely, it's the biggest economy in the country, and that's a place where you want to find concentrations of fourplex ownership, single family home ownership, that might be misplaced equity. You know, there's all these things you can do and make arguments to them if they don't want to they don't feel bad for you that you say you're a kid in Hawaii, Waipahu High School, like I say. And you know what? I was meant to have gone to Punahou. It's not my fault my parents were stupid and had me, even though they weren't wealthy and in the elite community. I know I was meant to be going to Punahou, but here I am going to Waipahu High School. Andrea Tupola says, not that I don't agree with it, it's just that this is how you sell it. You know, and now, and of course, the Democrats in California, Andrea Tupola and Augie T, I think it was, they pushed through this pilot program to have resource officers in the schools. Not anything new to California, but very, very new to Hawaii. So we're gonna have Honolulu police in my school breathing down my neck, making it a place where it's like, you know, I'm not smuggling drugs into the school and smoking crystal meth inside of the bathroom. I'm not the one doing that. Why you got to, you know, it's the problem with the school is it's public property, even though, you know, you don't let strangers on campus. So like, do I have the right to say I don't consent to a search, even though there's absolutely no probable cause for you to search me? And so these police officers are just going to put their hands on me. And, you know, that is in many ways you get the cops in the schools as possible. But in all fairness, in practice, for the cops, these are usually the full disabled police officers. Not that they're not physically fit or anything like that. It's just they just know. You know, they may not even carry guns. I don't know if there's anything in there about don't carry guns, but they just know. You know, it's like we're not really doing anything here except creating heebie-jeebie, walking through in our uniform. Say Waipahu High School campus or wherever they're putting it. And so you write a letter to wealthy families in California and say, you know, I always identify it as Barack Obama, and because of my socioeconomic status, I'm not going to be able to travel to the places I want to go to. I'm not going to be able to meet the people I want to meet. I'm very attracted to women. Say it's San Diego, with the look of San Diego, Jan Brady. You know, there's a girl in La Mesa that I met, you know, when I was up there with my family 3 years ago, and I've never been able to let go of the dream of fair skin and what it would feel like, you know, to be able to put my cheek up to it and my lips up to it. And so you write that stuff in a letter to wealthy families with concentrations of wealth, and you marry into their families. California's, I think that's really the fear. It's got nothing to do with, oh, people are sending too many postcards, people are finding our phone numbers, or there's identity theft. No, I mean, that's why you have title insurance. That's really the underlying fear. Nobody wants to talk about it. And there's a eugenic aspect to it. So we have to expose it. We have to talk about it because they don't want me breaking in to what I want to break into. So that's the financial example, the money example. Well, let's talk about IQ now. So now they're trying to segment the world this way. But people should be thinking outside of themselves. Like, it's not fair I wasn't born with the IQ to be an engineer. It's not fair I wasn't born with the IQ to be a doctor. It's not fair I wasn't born with the IQ to be a lawyer even. They're like Barack Obama. And so he'll hook everybody up with the Punahou package and all of that. So, you know, singing Hawaii Aloha at that yada graduation. We'll have to learn to sing in Punahou, and it's an incredible thing that they film, and we're so elite, and we're going to be made the leaders, and here we are, the children of Hawaii. You know, that's the public school song. The Merry Music Makers. No, we don't sing that. That's DOE. Duh. Or Yolani. Let's do it different. Republican, Iolani red, Punahou blue. Language, war, Apollo, Dionysus, a god of language, needs a god of war. Iolani Punahou. There's two. Doctor, lawyer, Iolani Punahou. And people should be thinking like that. That's something I put in an argument for ownership of property also, into marrying into these families where you can touch the money because they've got fourplexes and they've got. So put a stop on that and put a stop on that. So the devil came to me because I wasn't gonna settle for an IQ appropriate life. He came to me in elementary school, and things are just traumatic. Of course, I still can't quantify, but I will, because he came to me and what he said through the light was that I'll teach you everything. And so Satan becomes like a little child for the little child. He becomes anything you need him to be when you reach for him. And so we're gonna be talking about a lot of things. But this was my sort of ticket in, and so I heard him say, as I was in a single file line into the 6th grade classroom, how you measure. And I don't know if it was that the transmission cut off or that, but he said, how do you measure? And then I can't say I never heard from him again, because that was everything. So I mean, and you start to kind of process that, and what does it mean to you? And of course, in journalism, when I started, when I was heavily into these drugs, psychiatric drugs, and I was as dumb as I was and as slow as I was and obese as I was in school at University of Hawaiʻi, still not able to give up on it, because I heard him say, how do you measure? So many years ago when I was a kid, and there was this compass, and it was who, what, where, when, and why. And as an excuse to kind of, give some allure to the humanities fields, I guess, they said, where science fails is with the why. So let's study comparative religion. I don't know, but I guess that's one way to look at qualitatively what the devil meant by how do you measure. And the more I think on it, just like, this becomes a kind of compass. Who, what, where, when, and why becomes a kind of compass. How do you measure? The many ways you look at that, qualitatively, quantitatively. And there's a lot of things. There was this lecture I just sort of popped up when I was going through YouTube, perhaps stupidly, by Richard Feynman, about mathematical theorems and how they're all interlinked with each other. And you can kind of reverse engineer all of the others from one of them. I don't know, Einstein's Theory of Relativity. I was thinking, how do I make sense of this? But he said to me in elementary, how do you measure? And in the light, I felt it touch my face. And so I believe I'll make it. I do. And the drugs held me back. But there's no way to keep the devil in his place.